What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another edition of the BTS Show. I'm your host, Chris Bracey. Thank you guys for tuning in. Do me a favor as you take up your shoes and leave out the front door. Like this video, subscribe to my YouTube, following me on all social links are located in the description. Down outside the BTS shows the Cash App. Participate with all rights and privacy. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Once we reach those goals, one lucky person will get $100 in the Cash App giveaway, and the second and third person will get Cash App giveaway as well. Won't be $100. So tonight's show, it will be an all-world reaction. 1 second. And anybody wonder what I'm eating? Carrots, and I'm gonna eventually start eating celery sticks. Make sure none of that got in my ranch. All right, cool. Yeah, we're gonna do an all-world reaction. So let me, give you guys the backstory. Now, this was from Brother Sharon Bracey's panel. Links are located in the description. Make sure y'all go like, subscribe, and follow his page. He had a stream today. He had a stream earlier today, reacting to yesterday's stream. Now, somewhere in the stream, it kind of went downhill, in my opinion. Just to say, it was enough for me to say, Sharon, you're my brother, but I got to react to this content. And he's fully aware that I'm doing this, by the way. So we are going to talk about what happened today. Now, before we get into that, I'm just going to do quick hits. I'm going to get in and I'm going to get out. Yeah, my word. So in quick hits today, I'm just going to knock out quick topics, and give my take on it because I haven't spoke about this publicly for the most part. First topic is Kiki and her child's father. Here's why I put all the onus on him. You should have left this chick where she disrespected you at that Usher concert. You decided to hang around, whatever the case may be. She told you who she was. She told you who she was transitioning to. You should have believed her. And if you didn't believe her, that Usher concert was more than enough proof to say, I'm finna do me. You decided to stay. And now we get still photos of you allegedly assaulting her. Now, I'm not going to go solely based off still photos because that doesn't tell the entire story. However, I will say this. Had you left that chick a long time ago, you wouldn't be in this situation right now. They're pulling up, digging your past, and I just found out that his mother, has a restraining order against, I believe, his father or ex whatever. So it's a history, and we'll get into history regarding these acts later on today in this stream. So I know people want me to blame Kiki. I gotta blame him because had he left, he wouldn't be in the situation. Sorry, Darius, you gotta take that L. That's the first topic. Second topic. Keisha Chavez, aka Joe Smith's niece-to-be ex-wife, was on the It Is What It Is podcast giving Cam a body massage. Now, people want me to get on her. Now, in that case, she told you who she was. You know what the difference? You know what the similarities with Keke Palmer and Keisha Chavez? Real simple.
She belongs to the streets.
Telling you who they are. Believe them. They're not ready to do that wife role. They're not ready to do that settling down role. She's clearly not ready, and she told you plenty of times. Salute to Nidus. What's going on, OG? Glad you're here. They can't be more obvious with it. So Joe Smith needs to take this chick down to the courthouse and end this shit. Lastly, third topic, Fashion Nova. They have a new product. Now, this is a case where they say Men should stay out of women's business. And this is the case where I tell them to suck my dick from the back. Now, when it comes to nipple piercings, yeah, that can be extreme or whatever the case may be. But guess what? If that's a single woman and that's what you want to do with her body, let her rock out. Now, can somebody explain to me why is Fashion Nova coming out with fake nipple piercings? Meaning, to get an areola with the piercings in it, and you just slide them in, and boom. Why? Who thought this was smart and Fashion Nova? If you ask me,
You are stupid. You are stupid. And don't forget, you are stupid.
that makes no damn sense. Because let's say if a man has a fetish or whoever has a fetish for nipple piercings, you get there, you take your clothes off, and the nipple piercing you just flick them off on the floor. Then what? How embarrassing can that be? But Fashion Nova, go make your money. I ain't mad at you, but whoever's in your creative department, go ahead and send them on a 2 week vacation. Uh, yeah, because that ain't it. 2 weeks, no paid vacation to be exact. So, see how easy that was? That was quick hits. Now, let's get into the oopsie. Let's get into the show. Get that out of there. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is All World Reaction. My brother's in the building. Ricky, what's up, man? How you doing? And actually, before we even get into the reaction, church announcements, this is still up in the air, ladies and gentlemen. But let me take that banner off. This is still up in the air, but we may do a watch party next week, Saturday, for Survivor Series World War Games. If you have not watched War Games before, just go watch last year's, and you'll see how different this can be. Now, that following Thursday is a special day. That will be my 36th birthday. We will be doing a birthday stream that morning. So we're gonna be doing that morning. I'm gonna be on for a long period of time. So anybody can pull up, and we can shoot the shits on my birthday. Now that evening is something different. I have a video I want to present to you guys. War to Peace at BTSI Maso. I'm not gonna go into details what this means, but let's just say a lot has happened in my life, and I can finally talk about it publicly or share with it publicly. We'll get to talking about it because right afterwards we will be doing an all reaction to War to Peace, and I'm going to be taking any questions uh, that the audience may have. So, with that being stated, let's get to the show. All reaction. We are going to react to Sharon Bracey's panel. Ladies and gentlemen, links are located in the description. Please go subscribe to his channel, like his video, share his content. Sharon is good people. And also, I met him in person. Real good guy. Stand up gentleman. Him and his beautiful wife. Now, earlier today, just mind my own business, planning for 2024. I just so happened to open my phone and see who's on. And I saw Sharon was on. It said random thoughts, which is interesting because there's only one content creator I know that does that. But I was like, oh, this should be, let me click this. And ironically, both of the content creators I was thinking of was on the panel. And they was talking. Now, I came in like around the hour mark, and I stayed for the vast majority of the remainder of the panel. But boy, was that a big mistake on my part because I got infuriated by some of the things that I heard by certain individuals on that panel as well. So I said, I have to react to this. I'm not letting this go. I can if I wanted to. So what we're going to do It's out of here. All right, cool. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, there it is. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna react to this string. I'm gonna have the audio playing because I don't have the technology to do this without it lagging. And you guys know how much I hate lagging on these devices. So, just to get context of what this segment is gonna be about, we have to go back to the 41 minute and 6 second mark. That's when Israel Mills was speaking on traditional value, which I think is important to the conversation because the groundwork has been set of what this conversation should go and how people took it to a different location, different direction. And that's when it exploits a lot of people's foolishness, stupidity, ignorance, whatever word you feel comfortable using. So, you guys ready? 1 second. Sorry, excuse me. All right, like I said, let's go to the 41 6 second mark. Let me make sure the volume is up on this. All right, we're gonna 50 should be fine, but we're gonna do 75. If it's too loud, then I'll take it down. All right, where is it? All right, let's go and start it. Oops, there you go. Give it time, it's just loading. Should have done this earlier.
I feel like that's a bad thing.
I agree. I think so too.
Mm-hmm. Well, getting back to traditional values and traditional mindset is not a bad thing. Really, it was a thing that was working in society. Now, while I don't agree, I wasn't there for what he said, but from what y'all are saying that he's saying, I disagree with that statement. At the same time, I will say that getting back to traditional values and getting back to the structure of family is a good thing and not a bad thing.
Hey, ears, can I ask you a question?
Is there anything wrong with that statement that you guys heard? I don't. I don't think what he said was wrong. When it comes to traditional value, what he did was set the premise of what it means, or what he's referring to, referencing, to be exact. Structure, actually, marriage first, obviously, which leads to the structure of the family. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because from my vantage points, I have seen a lot of people who have gone so far away from traditional value, which is perfectly fine. But if what you're doing is not producing results, and you're ultimately growing a cancer in your backyard and just walking away and ignoring it, that's a problem. Because if it affects you, then it affects you. The cancer could wipe you away, wipe the bloodline away, boom. We could go our separate ways and we won't miss you. However, people's decisions tend to affect other people as well. So I don't see what he said that was wrong. But someone's gonna find an issue with it. But let's jump to the 44 minute mark, the 44 minute and 48 second mark with Venus. It's shout out to Venus. That's we love Venus up here. Let's see where we at. Go back a little bit, purple. Now there's something that she said. Is this conversation transfer or transition to this comment that Venus made about her freedom when it comes to marriage? So let's hear it.
As in car play and so on, so they all got air conditioners. Would you be okay with staying at home if you had to shop at Sears?
Just for context, he just asked. Sharon just asked, would you be comfortable being a housewife, but sacrificing in other areas like shopping at Sears. I don't think there's anything wrong with shopping at Sears, by the way. Or maybe I'm tripping. Who knows?
For your clothes. She is not there. So Jay, I know I kind of already understand your point of view on it. I think you would be okay with it, I'm assuming. Jay?
Be okay with what?
Okay. We're gonna get Jay. I remember this part. We're gonna get Jay's take on this, and Venus is gonna respond right after Jay. And for those guys that don't know, Jay, my favorite headache from Houston. So, which is that's gonna make for a good 2024. I won't tell you guys what I got planned, but we'll talk about it later. Go ahead, Jay. Oops, wrong button.
No. Letting your man provide everything that he can provide, meaning that you might not be able to shop at Macy's. Maybe on your birthday you can shop at Macy's, but however, most of the time you're shopping at Sears and Target for your clothes, but you eat every day. You got a workable car. Is that okay with you?
Most of us are living that now, so yeah, budgeting, amazing. Duh.
She's referring to the budgeting, by the way, not to stay-at-home wife, but let's go.
But if I'm not able to live my life in other ways, then that would be a problem.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you're focused on the materialistic aspect of it. For at least I can speak for myself. My only concern would be my freedom. Somebody trying to control me and dictate every little thing I do and every decision I make, because they are the one bringing all the money, providing the roof over everyone's head, providing all the food. So I just don't.
When you say control, what is it that you're afraid that he's going to control?
Just every action I take. I don't want to. If I want to go to the movies, have to come and check in with anybody first. I don't like the idea of that. Or if I want to get my nails done.
I'm sorry.
So let me start with the beginning, and I'm gonna work my way down. She wants a level of, she doesn't want to be treated like a child in home relationship. Perfectly fair. That's why you got to find a man that's compatible with you. However, you need to understand. Now, she also has added further context regarding like checking in with a man, what to wear, what not to wear, what to do, what not to do, what to eat, and that type of stuff, as if that's her father and she's a child. A guy that is micromanaging and who probably has some type of low self-esteem, some insecurities. If that's the man that she's describing, I totally get it. I understand. You don't want to deal with no man who doesn't have any confidence in his woman to make the right decisions. Because one of the greatest qualities a woman can have is discernment. You got to trust that your significant other, men, you got to trust that she can make the right decisions. If she couldn't make the right decisions, why did you end up with her to begin with? So you got to use that. GPG is officially in the building. What up, D? How you doing, brother? So, fellas, make sure the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, you got to make sure she makes right decisions. Now, Venus is saying, with the decisions I make, my man should pretty much be able to trust me, shouldn't be able to treat me like a child. I totally get it, 100%. Now, here's where she's wrong. Now, she's talking about she wants to go out, do whatever. Like, I'll go to the movies. I shouldn't have to check in with you, all this other stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to being in a relationship, granted, there's traditional relationships and there's some modern relationships. Either way, independency will destroy a relationship. On face value, independency will destroy your relationship, because if you don't need to be with him, don't be with him. If you don't need to be with her, don't be with her. Let her go, because either she's blocking your blessing or you're blocking her blessing. Because everybody's saying that I don't need a man, I just want a man. Those people I tend to leave alone, because that normally leads, there's a continuous patterns of women that want a man versus needing a man. We'll get into that another stream at another time. But I'm dependent on her. She's in that room. I'm dependent on her, just like she's dependent on me. And because we're dependent on each other, we will be married 7 months. Excuse me, we will be married 7 years next month. It's called interdependency. Independency will destroy a relationship. You go do your own thing, he go does his own thing. And usually when you guys do your own things, you're going to realize they had something that you didn't know about or you was not aware of. And now you're going to be feeling some type of way at the end. But keep in mind, you want to be independent. That means independent of whatever I got going on. Whatever I got going on is none of your business. See how independent can mess up a relationship? Yeah. Yes, no. That's where Venus is wrong at. Now, the question is, how can she get a successful relationship by still being independent? Someone is going to have to lessen their values. And somebody's going to have to compromise their standards for that to even to be possible. And if Venus wants to keep her independency, the man's standards have to be compromised. That's pretty much it. It's possible. It's very possible to get in a relationship. Now, whether that relationship will last long remains to be seen. But for women to keep what they want, that level of just relying on oneself and having the freedom to do whatever you want, you have to have a man with compromised standards to get that goal accomplished. You heard it here first. Now, I will openly admit, even when I went back to watch this, even this part, I allegedly I dozed off. Now, ironically, I woke up on the part where I actually watched the stream. So let's jump all the way to Aaron O's part. Aaron was what's what I want to say? I want to say piggybacking. Well, piggybacking is the appropriate word, but Aaron was complimenting Ali's points and providing a little bit more information to it, a little bit more takes. So we're ready. Let's skip this a little bit further. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron O.
Thank you. Go ahead, Aaron O. And then we go to Love C after.
Don't you ever disrespect me. I've been on your show before, long time ago. First I have to say, Ali was cooking. He was just saying he said too many things in one sentence. So that most of the stuff he was saying was kind of going over what people wanted to actually speak about. But when we speak about value, there's a personal value and there's a societal value. Women's value has changed personally, but not a societal standard on it. So we don't have a societal standard on Oprah giving out jobs to men. If she didn't do that, we wouldn't care. The societal standard is on men. And then we don't have an evolving scale about the standard for men. It's the exact same thing. Whether men do things and the standard for it is the exact same. I haven't heard what's changed for men. And so I think we need to start where do we define the value of women? And I think Ali was leaning towards it of how do we identify it? What is their actual value? I think we're not actually responding to whatever that actually is. And I think that's the complicated part that I'm trying to figure out right now. And so ultimately, I think that women's value is tied a lot to men, and it burns their soul. It burns their soul that we determine they value, and they're trying to detach from that. But ultimately, if you keep listening to what they're saying, I can't be this type of woman without a man. I can't do this unless a man leads. That's a direct tie to a man. And so we jump around being nice about things, but just to be direct and confrontational, their value is directly tied to us, and it's spoken through listening to them. They just don't like it. And I could go on and on, but I'm gonna choose not to.
All right. So, what did Aaron O say in this point regarding value? There's two ideas of value: personal and societal. That I can agree with. Now, he also said that women value has changed personally, and that I can agree with as well. Because what do women want more now versus what they want 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30, 40, 50, so on and so forth? Yes, women personally say, you know what? I'm tired of doing it this way. I wanted to do it my way. So because of that, I'm going to prioritize certain things that I will put on the back burner, and I put that in air quotes because that's a shot at the older generation. Like, you put your own dreams, you put your own aspirations on the back burner for what? Now, easy to raise a family, be a mother, be a wife, and that type of stuff. See, you got to be unselfish, basically. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get your own personal stuff done. It's just that there's priorities. And right now, your priority is when you're married is your husband. Your priority when you're have a family is to be a mother. And the same thing goes with the men as well. By the way, just to let you guys know, this is not no one-sided ass whooping. Everybody gets it. Now, although the women's personal value has changed, what Aaron said, society-wise, the value has not changed. Because if you look on the grand scheme of things, not much has changed. Or if you look at the results, it really says, ladies, you might be doing all of this personal change. It might be some of y'all. It ain't all of y'all. A lot of women value kids. Excuse me. A lot of women value kids, having kids. Today, more and more women are against having kids. Okay, a lot of women back then value having kids. As of today, not so much. And I completely agree because they decided to prioritize themselves ahead of their bloodline, basically. Because you guys are waiting till you guys get to your mid 30s to have a child. Who knows? You may not have you may want a child, and you might be so rushed to get so much in a rush to do that, you forgot about who you're gonna have a child with. So it messes all the things. It messes everything up. Now, has men's value has not changed. Yeah. If you want across the board, all ethnicities, yeah, men's value has not changed. It's pretty much the same. Because basically the men is at the finish line where the women are not, and they're closing the gap, trying to get to where the men is at. And the men are just sitting back, looking like, I guess we're just go ahead and see if they can actually reach the level they're looking for. Now, I don't have the numbers with me anymore, but there's such a big gap. There's still a wage gap between men and women. When it comes to the C-suites, there's still more men than women, if I'm correct. So, although women are trying to catch up and they probably make some strides, they have a long way to go to catch up to the brothers. And it is what it is. Now, he also said women's value is tied to men, and women don't like that. And the reason why he said that is because men typically will determine the women's value. Now, granted, I believe that's done in a relationship for the most part. Because, well, no, that's pretty much self-explanatory. That's done in a relationship. If you're single, you're not in a relationship, society is going to dictate that. But as far as if I want to be with you, I have to determine your value because I need to know if your value is not only compatible with me, it won't compromise what I got planned 5 years from now, 10 years from now, so on and so forth. That's how the game works. Now, let's see. And a fun fact, ladies and gentlemen, I was talking. Oh, Ski Mask, what up? I ain't even see you. How you doing? Appreciate you for coming through. I was talking to whatchamacallit earlier today, and somehow we got to the discussion about how I made my appearance on this side of YouTube. Obviously, it was and I'm getting to the video. So 1 second, we're gonna get to Love C now. Obviously, Kev is the reason why I'm in the space, and me finding Kev video that led me to Lapeef and watched them. Went to the Houston meetup, the Lapeef meetup in Houston. Um, Also, now after the night after Kevin passed, um, because Brandon, me, and Content Kid, we was talking about me making my presence on YouTube on these live streams. I just been putting it off. Like we'll get there. I just haven't done it. When Kev passed, it really hit to me like you need to get on YouTube. So I took that leap of faith. I got on YouTube, and that is the first panel I was ever on May 6th, 2022. You got, of course, you got, and this is Anton's late night panel. I don't think it was called Fight Club or not. Oh no, it was called Fight Club. Subscribe to the new Fight Club channel started tomorrow. Oh, interesting. So came in the right time. So of course you got the top. You got Ida Girl Q. You got Angry Man. You got you got Love C in the middle, which we'll get to that in a minute. You got Thinking Man, you got Black Beauty, Joe, Marvelous Opinion, Beans, and Louis First. That's my first panel that I've ever been on. Those guys. Obviously, 7 of the 9. Well, actually, yes, 7 of the 9 is still here. Well, granted, it's up in there about Marvelous and Thinking Man. I think they're kind of doing their own thing. But I just want to throw that out there. And right there in the middle, top center, that's Love C. And that's who we're about to hear from next. Here we go.
Thank you, Ariel. That was very insightful. Thank you. Love C, then Cheeky.
Aaron. So, Aaron basically said what I was going to say, but in a little bit more of a direct way. I was going to say that there are two different types of value, and usually the value that we speak about, because it's relation based, it is tied. Um, it is tied to that relationship happening. So it is tied to a man. He deems you valuable, and then he tells you how valuable based on what he does for you.
See, she said the same thing.
You. A lot of times, though, we look at that value and we assign a money amount to it, and I'm this valuable because, like you said, I shop at Macy's. But what happens is we lose the character. For a man to say you're valuable enough to birth my children gives you a value. For him to then say, I want you to be here and raise them, there's a value to that as well. And that is different. I disagree with the part where you say if you don't have children and you don't have a man, then you have no value. At that point in time, then that's where you're able to say, I can provide value to society. I can provide value in other ways. But what we hear the most, I'll say what people are most vocal about, it does mean that within the relationship is where you find your value.
Awesome.
I agree 100%. I can't disagree with her. She's absolutely right. Now, just because you don't have a man, ladies, that doesn't mean you're valueless. Now you're gonna and I'm talking about significant other, obviously. Now you're gonna have to find your value elsewhere while you are waiting your turn to find that man of your life, or that man in your life is gonna find you. What can you provide? What can you offer society? Like, what skill sets do you have? When you go to corporate, if you work a blue collar job, what can you offer? If you work a white collar job, what can you offer? You in a C-suite, what can you offer? There's so many things a woman can present, not because she's a woman, maybe that could be her benefit, but she is more than what we see. So to say that she's worth nothing because she's not with the man, I do believe that to be asinine. So that was Love Seat. I completely agree. Now let's see. Excuse me. Let's move over to when does Cheeky pop in this? All right, here we go. Now, a lot of women is upset with Cheeky. Probably feel like that he turned on them because he was one way, now he's another. I don't. I don't see what everybody is bitching and complaining about personally, but we will. Actually, I need to do something with this because I gotta make sure that everybody's tagging this. So he started to go on his take about being a house husband, and it will make sense momentarily. So let's get into while I figured this other stuff out. Let me get into Cheeky Banner. Where we at? Okay, cool. All right, just 9 seconds extra. All right, listen to this and we'll get to it.
We're talking about the obligation to themselves. Every single one was like about me.
Right. So, okay, now I get what you're saying. So, yes, I think that men's status or societal obligations haven't changed, but they should, which is what I'm pushing for. I'm not pushing for traditionalism anymore. Keep telling y'all, 2024, pushing for house husbands. Reason being is because we need to start thinking and behaving more modern so that we stop upholding these ideas of what anything looks like, because nothing about today is traditional. Nothing that the women do is traditional. Nothing about their behavior is traditional. Them working and making more money potentially isn't traditional. There's a lot of things that aren't traditional. So why do we have to keep this stagnant stance of being when that shouldn't exist? Change it. If they can change their rights and change their abilities, then I'm going to do that for men too. I'm going to advocate men do the same thing. Doesn't make sense. See, like for example.
And after that, a lot of women was in the chat, confused. Yeah, Pink being one of them was confused. Lee being one of them was confused. And you already know if those two get confused, there's gonna be a lifestyle side woman who's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So let me turn this on just to get a little brightness. There we go. And sure. Anywho, so there's context. Context matters. Now, when Chiki's talking about being a house husband, it's for the simple fact that he's rebelling against traditionalism. For the simple fact there is no traditional women out here, according to him. Is that cap? Obviously. But when you hear women talk, they're not wanting to be traditional themselves. I hear that. I hear it a lot. So I'm not gonna say the man is delusional. Let's talk about it. He's in 2024. He's no longer pushing for traditionalism. He's going to say that that we as men think and behave more modern because that's what the woman is doing. Also, nothing today is traditional. Cap, but I get his point. And why him saying women are not traditional, that leads to their behavior is not traditional, their working is not traditional, making more money is not traditional. They don't want children. That's definitely not traditional. And they don't want to be a housewife. That's not traditional. Oops. Now that put that up here. So he's saying if you don't want to be traditional, why should men be traditional? Now, quite frankly, I agree with his thought process on how he's going to galvanize your troops and lead that march into the dating market. Now, That's only because once women realize that this is how men is going to move, they're going to have to eventually abandon their ideologies, their way of thinking, and revert back to what it should be, or basically what it needs to be for everybody to win, including the women. So I would say I wish you the best of luck in that journey. And I hope you get the results that you're looking for. Now, let's get to Omni. Salute to the brother Omni. Because he came out the gate hot, and I got to say, I agree with what he said initially. So let's get into it. Here is Omni.
Okay, so quite frankly, I find this discussion quite tiring to continuously have over and over.
Me too.
Difficult women are difficult women. If you want to deal with difficult women who are being difficult for the sake of being difficult, that's what I believe this is. Because women are the most free they have ever been. They've been provided the opportunity to exercise their ability to choose more so than any other woman throughout any time period in human history. And for some reason, she is still miserable.
Mm.
So, no, more so than any other woman in.
So basically, what he said: women, you got everything you want, but yet you're still miserable right now. So was it worth it? That's pretty much what he's saying about the difficult women
in history. So if she wants to choose the thing that is ultimately worst for her, this is what I've come to with not just women but people in general. I can't hold someone accountable like their circumstances can. So if she's going to choose,
that's a bar,
to say one thing and do another, and choose the thing that's completely and utterly worse for her, leave her to her circumstances, and then choose better for yourself. That's what it really comes. That's really what it comes down to. If you want traditional, find traditional. You're probably going to have to fight to find traditional, but you're going. If you want traditional and you mean what you say when you say you want traditional, men and women, you're going to have to find that in this era.
let me pause it right there. As GBG's now is better, officially in the building. Granville, what's going on, man? Now, I completely agree with Omni. I'm about tired of these conversations. It seems like we complain about the same thing over and over again, especially when it comes to difficult women. Now, there's some women that doesn't feel wasn't too fond of his comments. I would have to ask those women why was she not fond of his comments? Because if a difficult woman is being a dickhead, leave her to her own circumstances because that will hold her accountable. Because, ladies, to the women that this applies, you don't want men to hold you accountable. So what do you want? He's going to say, I'm going to leave you where I found you and you deal with real life. Because for every decision you make, there are consequences. I don't see nothing wrong with it. That way, I don't hold you accountable and you still get the lesson that you ultimately deserve. Sounds like a win to me. Now, regarding traditional man looking for traditional women, he's absolutely right. You need to go find them. I found mine working excuse me, working a few feet from me in the cubicle at work. So God really blessed me in that department. It made it easier for me to find my wife. Nevertheless, you need to go find a traditional woman if that's what you want. If not, you're going to have to deal with modern women, and you're going to have to make the safest bet or safest decision when dealing with a modern woman. Now, does that mean all modern women are bad? No, it doesn't. We all know better than that. But that's when my marriage series come into play. So that way you can rule out the ones who are here for some goofy time and ones who actually want to be here for a long time. So keep that in mind. I agree with Nominee. Now, this one, I spent a lot of time on this clip right here. Easy Money Jones. Now he said a lot of things in this clip. I'll openly admit. And we're gonna get into it. Let's just say I may or may not go in. I don't know yet. Still up in the air, but we'll figure it out. Let's see where we at. This is the 1 hour 22 minute and 4 second mark. Okay, that's just a little bit jump. Skip away. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Easy Money Jones.
Then I have a question for Chiefy afterwards.
No problem.
All right, so real quick, all this traditional talk is hilarious to me because I don't think most people realize that traditions move and change over time. And so I'll give you an example. The holiday of Thanksgiving was celebrated in the Americas even before the Indians and the Pilgrims sat down with each other to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And then since that time, it morphed and changed. And then in 1863, Lincoln, said, hey, we need to give thanks to our ancestors and it's a day of rest. And it wasn't until 1942 that the date of Thanksgiving settled on the fourth Thursday of November. And so to that point, you're going back, 400 or 500 years for the original, Thanksgiving to now where we celebrate.
Let's make sure we're following. He found traditionalism to be hysterical. He used Thanksgiving. He said what he said was, they all celebrate Thanksgiving. Pilgrims, Indians, they all celebrate Thanksgiving prior to Abraham Lincoln's acknowledgement of we need to give thanks to the past in 1863. And the government didn't finalize it and make it a holiday the fourth Thursday of the month. So now that we're all caught up, let's continue because this is gonna go somewhere. We'll see.
Settled on the fourth Thursday of November. And so to that point, you're going back, 400 or 500 years for the original, Thanksgiving to now where we celebrate it in the way that we celebrate it. And so for us to just hang on to something that one, we never lived, and two, we don't really have that much of a connection to is baffling to me, as we know that the nature of humans is to continue to evolve and to change. Secondly, if we're talking tradition,
now, what he just said right there, Easy Money Jones. Humans evolve and change with time. So it's going to be hard for you to hold on tradition. Okay, I'll follow you so far. What I agree or disagree, we'll just have to hold out and see. So let's go.
In this European white supremacy patriarchal society, if we're going back 100 200 years, 300 years, the tradition for us was to be in chains picking cotton. And even if you go back 60 years, we were segregated, we were redlined. The veterans were denied GI benefits. Some veterans were denied GI benefits that they were actually entitled to. Mm-hmm. And so, there's really nothing in the past that for us to look back to as something to marvel or something that we want to hold on to.
And I said, really? So let's stick with that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you missed it, when it comes to traditional values, he believes, we building over here. Salute to you. Up. Troublemakers in the building. Hey, Sugar Bum, how you doing? So, think about what he just said. When we say traditional values, his mind ran to European values. Slavery, that was what black people went through. Segregation, red line, the GI, them not getting GI benefits. And we don't know, and also he'll go on later to talk about we don't know the dynamics of the men and women back in the day. So how can we Wody Mack is in the building. I'm sorry, I'm such a rude host. Let me post this right here. Because if I go in on somebody, usually y'all know my motto. If I talk about anybody, I gotta give them room to come up and defend themselves. Or if anybody want to pull up, that's fine. Let me just do this real quick. Let me mute this. 1 second. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? See, this is why I need a Mac Studio pin message. Okay, good. Now we're good. All right, I can exit out of this. All right, cool. So, all right, where we at? What y'all mean by tradition? Then we'll get to that. All right, hey, I know Sugar Monk can be a terrorist at times, but hold on, y'all, be nice. So, when we say traditionalism, obviously we're not going back to the traumas, the dark times. See, hold on, Sugar, what you say? I like Easy. He's very logical and extremely articulate. He's a breath of fresh air. I will hold off on that. I'm just going to say I will hold off on that. Now, when people, the fact that when people say traditionalism, you guys go to the worst part is very mind-boggling, but at the same time, it reveals a lot. It tells me who you are as a individual and as a person. Tyranny. Where tyranny at? Am I tripping? Or Sugar Bum tripping? Oh! Well, let me actually unmute that real quick. Oh. Well, I mean, you got me thinking this woman was in my track, ready to give me more gray hairs. But sorry, let me focus. Yeah, the fact that that's the first thing that comes to your mind is negativity about traditionalism, the the things about our history that we can't avoid, that we have to acknowledge when it's necessary. The fact that that's where your mind went to says a lot, and it really makes me question one's manhood and one's leadership. That's just me personally. Now, although that's where my head went to, was like, I see you, boss. I can't comment. What are you talking about? Okay, but I just find that very disturbing that that's what you want to go to. Oh, okay, I see what you say. She's probably in the chat, but she can't say anything. What? Okay, how you doing? So, if was a traditional for traditionalism, your first mind went to slavery. For traditionalism, your first mind went to segregation. For traditionalism, your first the first thing that went to your mind was red line. For traditionalism, the first thing that went to your mind was GI benefits. That means you're filled with trauma and you're holding on to the past, which then determines if you're qualified to have this conversation. See, you got to be careful with certain things you say based off of what you're holding on to because it will pop out and you're going to tell everybody who you are. That's not a good look. Now, is that intellectually dishonest? I 100% have to agree with that. Now, let's continue. Let's see what else this guy says.
I apologize. That's an intellect. Listen, I mean, you have a lot of facts and you state a lot of facts, right? Easy money, Jones. At the same time, with that being said, that has nothing to do with the conversation that we were having, or nothing left to try to prove.
I got you. I got you. Just here we go. So to that point, I say all of that to say, y'all have no idea what was going on back in the day between men and women in that way. All right. So a lot of people either don't have that connection to their grandparents or their great grandparents. I fortunately was able to speak with my grandparents and great grandparents and great great uncles and great great aunts, and they gave me the real. So while you got
Keep in mind, he said we don't know nothing about men or women back in that day, but apparently he does based off of the people he talks to. Keep that in mind.
guys, believe this Cosby eyes, men and women did this and children did this. I got the real. There's one cousin that we all have that don't look like their siblings. Okay. There were a lot of times grandma was walking around with sunglasses and it wasn't any sunshine out. And it wasn't pretty. All right. So let's keep that all the way funky. Okay. Lastly, since we want to talk value and men and women's value, right? Because men believe that they determine the value for women. Men value themselves by three things in our society.
Oh.
Men determine the value of other men based on how much money you make, your job, and your access to women. We just heard Ali talk, try to talk about Cheeky being, a virgin and all of this. And in reality, if you're going to say that men determine the value of women, it's really the other way. It's your access and ability to procure relationships and sex from women that determines your manhood. So if
we're going to stop it right there, Adrian's going to jump in and he's going to respectfully disagree with that as well. I need to see if I can find the one other clip I was looking for. I had to stop earlier because I was filming something. I was filming a project. Now, he said, easy. He said, cousins. We all had that cousin that doesn't look like their siblings. Insinuating that mama was messing around and got pregnant by another guy. He also brought up how grandma or mama walked around with their sunglasses. Ain't no sun outside. So let's start with that. One second. Well, I mean, the sunglasses was a sign that a lack of respect wouldn't be repeated. Just thinking. Well, I don't want to condone that, but I hear what you're saying. So when we say traditional values, Easy brought up how you have a cousin who's not fully related to the family. When it comes to traditional values, he brought up how grandma or mama used to wear sunglasses outside when the sun is not out, insinuated that they got beat. And keep in mind, he also said, well, hold on, we'll get to that momentarily. But with those two things, you know why that ain't got shit to do with traditionalism and why he sounded like a complete dumbass? Because that's not traditionalism. That's a generation curse. You know how I know that's a generation curse? Because that's still happening today. That happened today. It's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen the next day. It's going to happen next week, next month, next year. It's not going to stop until somebody in the family says enough is enough. That's when it will stop. That's a generation curse. That's not traditionalism. Because if it was traditionalism, it wouldn't be happening today. Ladies and gentlemen, be careful who y'all let talk in these platforms. Well, let me say that. Everybody should have the right to come on a platform and talk, including this one. Stop glorifying the past. Women's suffrage exists because the women weren't happy as y'all claim. Feminism exists. What that is? Oh, God. 1 second. Feminism exists because the women were not happy as y'all claim. And what he said, women back in grandma times was real tough women. Yeah. So as I was saying earlier, here's why Easy's wrong. What he brought up was not traditionalism. What he brought up was a generation curse. two different things. That's why he's wrong. Also, when you think traditionalism, he brought out slavery, segregation, red line, blah blah blah. Ladies and gentlemen, I can go back to the Bible times and say that's tradition. And guess what? Guess what happened in the Bible times? Does anybody want to take a guess? They keep a home mind, the kids, and had a good job. Weave gang, grandmas are the best. So, matter of fact, Sugar Bum, I want to ask you a question. Because you say we shouldn't live in the past when it comes to traditionalism. And granted, they're talking about 60 plus years ago. What if I can go back a couple centuries ago? You want to know what women were doing back in the Bible times? What if I tell you women were wives? What if I tell you there was mothers? Or better yet, what if I tell you they were entrepreneurs? What if I tell you they were businesswomen? What if I tell you they also made their money? And guess you don't want your grandmother's life? Then why don't you go a little bit further back? Matter of fact, I know the verse, but I just need to verify it so I don't sound crazy. Let's see. Hurry up. Let's see. I think it's. Let me see if it's 24. There we go. Yep, it's 24. Yo, wow. So, Sugar Bum, you don't have to have your grandmother's life. Why don't you go back to keep going back a little bit further in your bloodline if it goes all the way back to the Bible days? Matter of fact, why don't you go back to Proverbs 31? Now, I will say this. A lot of people like to bring up the Proverbs 31 women. And ladies and gentlemen, next year we're going to go over the book of Proverbs, all of it. Don't jump to 31 and say, do this. No, go start with chapter 1 and work your way down. We're going to go over that. I'm happy to be a modern woman. I'm not chained to men like slaves with no ambition of my own. Sugar, I think that's a personal shot. You want to put a name in the chat? I think you're referring to somebody in the space. Just a hunch. Can you put a name in the chat, though? Please. Can you do that? I won't tell nobody, I promise. But I want to say this. Proverbs chapter 31, verse 24. Sugar Bum, listen. Don't type. Don't press it. Listen. She makes linen garments and sells them and supplies sashes for the merchants. After she's done taking care of her husband, taking care of the children, taking care of the house. You hear the Sugar Bum? Listen. Husband, check. Kids, check. Duties around the house and duties as a mother, wife, whatever. Check. Guess what? Pocket's a little thin. I need to go put something in here. You know what I'm going to do? I got some needle, got a thread. I'm going to put this together and I'm going to make something. Oh, wow, this is actually this is actually kind of nice. You know what? I'm going to make several more of these. Not really, but I'm going to make several more of these. I'm going to go to the market and I'm going to sell it and get money put in my pocket while still being a badass wife, a badass mother. So I can be a badass woman in the business game. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your tradition right there. Not slavery, not segregation, not red line, not that goofy shit that Easy was talking about. There's multiple people. You're going to have to explain that for me. Sugar Mom, you can explain that. If you can explain this for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Men and women were having children outside of marriage. Grandpa had a family on the other side of town. He took care of and he took care of the children he knew was not his. Big Mom was having sex too. That is true. That is also true. That doesn't have to be the scenario, Sugar, where you just eating on your hands because you get a man. Just find a guy who has a stern face and calm personality because all you need to deal with y'all. Y'all is wild. No, 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 he's not. No, he's not. You mean in the space multiple people, Chris? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I wanted to see is Sugar Mom was gonna say some name. Um, Sugar Mom, that's very common. That's 100%. Like you hear about grandpa starting a new family or having another family outside of town. Now, do I think that was in mass numbers? Probably not. But we don't. We'll probably never find that number out on the paper side. But with all the people that I talked to from back then who's still around now, they said that number's not prevalent. And I talked to multiple people. So grandpa had a family on the other side, and you really don't really figure that out until the funeral. And um, Big Mama doing her own thing outside of the house, and around the same time got pregnant, raising a child that's not his. That's very common. And here's the thing about that one: with the technology that was limited back then, you would never, they would never figure that out. We have the technology now, but back then, no. You a wife could really literally get away cheating on. No, no, stop it. I think you was cut the no, no, no. I'm gonna let you make it. No, no, no. I know you was talking about a woman in the space, but that's okay. That's good. I'm gonna let you take some shots at Wody. But yeah, sugar. I don't know exactly how old you are, and this is not me sunning you or whatever the case may be. I heard this before. So this is nothing new. What Stan said was nothing new. How many unrelated uncles show up? Mom said me and your uncles is going to the bedroom. Y'all go outside and play. All facts. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that is. Yeah. And trust me, that ain't traditional. Oh yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, that's not traditional. That happens today. This happens today. Still. Ain't nothing traditional about that. All married men are sense to me. You know this. How you figure? Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, she's gonna bring up Will Smith. She's gonna bring up Russell Wilson. Um, Boyce Watkins is a good. I don't know if I would call Boyce Watkins a son, believe it or not. But she's gonna bring up Will Smith, and she's gonna bring up Russell Wilson as a debate. Oh, B Love, how you doing, sweetheart? Glad you could pull up. Now, what was I saying? All that Stan was saying is facts, sugar, and to the sugar bombs of the world. Yeah, this is all new. This is all true. I believe simps are good men, and it makes men simping bad. No, 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 and that's where. And we're gonna get to the next section. Get to the last call. Um, so, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to traditional values, you really what you have to do is state what you mean by traditional. Israel Mills at the 41 minute 6 second mark already established what traditional value means regarding marriage and the structure of the family. Now, keep in mind, Cheeky brought up how women are not traditional and how he's going to start pushing for house husbands in 2024. That here's what I see about that real quick. With him being pushing house husband, it's one thing that I know is going to happen, or I believe he's going to aim towards. It's for the simple fact of we're going to he wants to show women what it means to be a house husband. For this is what a housewife is supposed to do, and they're going to do it the right way, the most efficient way, to the point where a woman's going to be like, okay, now I get it. Let me convert myself to being traditional, and the world's gonna keep on spinning. Now, that was cheeky. Omni talked about difficult women, like lead them in their own circumstance versus holding them accountable. Also, and where it got easy. What's up? Let's try this. Women say he is just my friend or cousin. Then you find out they are sleeping together. Um, Chris, simps are traditional. They work, they pay bills, protect, provide, and that's traditional. Sugar Bomb. Simps and pygmies are pretty much the same. The only difference is one is a man, one is a woman. Let me say that again. Simps and pygmies are the same. Only difference, one is a man, one is a woman. They're not traditional. No, they're not, beloved. They're not. And we're about to get into that momentarily. I just wanted to end that segment of All World Reaction and let people know if you're really are if the first thing you go to is the negative stuff, the trauma that Black people have went to as far as tradition goes, if that's the first thing that goes to your mind, you really need to do some deep diving and figure out what's going on in your life for you to just to jump to the negative just like that. I went all the way back to the Bible days and how empowered women were. Wives, mothers, entrepreneurs. I went back to the Bible. So I'll be honest, this housewife thing is fairly a new concept if you really want to keep it a buck. So why don't y'all really dig deep on what traditional really means? I understand everybody's not religious. I respect that. However, history has shown what traditionalism is. Now, was there some things that we went through in our lifetime that some dark days that shaped us to where we are now? Of course. We're not ignoring the past, but at the same time, we're not saying that is the poster child of what traditional is. Slavery, segregation, all that stuff. You are foolish and hurt and traumatized to think that. And usually those people like that, honestly, I don't think are qualified to speak on these topics, but hey, people run the panel the way they see it. And we're just gonna have to leave it at that. Now, let's see. She's like, oh Lord, sugar bus here. Men and women lie. It just didn't start in 2023 to get what they want to accomplish. Facts. The Bible's not empowering women. Cap. Excuse me. I did not feel empowered when I read the Bible all them years ago. Well, sugar mom, I just told you about a verse that you didn't know exists. So you might want to go read the Bible again. Oh, actually, when I do Bible works, granted, I did a segment earlier this a couple months ago with Bible works. I promise we're gonna go over the Book of Proverbs. Let's start there. The reason why is because if I had to tell people what book to start in the Bible, start with Proverbs. Yes, you can go start with Genesis and work your way up. Perfectly fine. But go start with Proverbs. That's just me. We're going to go to that book together. And also by us going to the Book of Proverbs, you're actually going to take a look behind the curtains of my thought process and how I tend to stay ahead of most people on the panels and the chat. So we'll get to that when that time comes. Now, real quick, how do women like Ruth, Sarah, Mary had roles in the Bible? Is that God? Is that God uses all for His purpose? Amen. Now, one last thing before we go. I hope I was able to find what I was looking for. Now, there is, if you guys, that's not true. That's not even remotely true. You know it. And in 2023, well, we'll talk about that later. So, there was a hashtag, actually, two of them that I created. And I think this is apropos. Let me get this set up. Y'all gonna be mad at me. Oh no, let me fix that. Just I know what y'all gonna say. Just let it rock. There we go. Let me get somebody here. Ladies and gentlemen, in last call, we're gonna talk about the new hashtag. Pander for box. Pandering for box. Ladies and gentlemen, in this space, we have men who's how can I say this? In their stable, they're running out of livestock. It just ran dry. Or the livestock managed to get away and run for safety. Because people think they're outside, or me, in my case, I'm actually outside for real. So when people come on panels for the sole purpose to say certain talking points just to gain favor with people, gain favor with a particular audience. This is why I said earlier, simps and pick-me's are virtually the same, for the simple fact the only difference is one is a man and one is a woman. Otherwise, we don't really, on the textbook definition, we don't respect none of that shit. Not one. Let me make sure I start this comment so I don't fucking lose it. All right. So, why was I spamming Sharon's chat with pander for box and pandering for box? Let's get to unlikely, ladies and gentlemen, as an example. Now, I'm currently looking for the what you call it that I want to pause this. I'm currently looking for the clip. I was going hard on the other clip and I didn't get a chance to look for some of his clips because I had a pilot to shoot. But there are some things that was said today, and it's like, you're doing this for box. You're doing this for the sole purpose to get pussy from women, only to get them. Oh, how you doing? How you been? Haven't heard from you in a while. Missed you. Thank you for coming, Just Jay. Oh yeah, y'all want to know a woman that got a mean shoe game? Just saying. Approach her carefully. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, when it comes to that, oops, let me get this back up here. Pander for box. when it comes to the sole purpose of you're trying to get sex, trying to get a woman's something a woman would rather keep to themselves and only give away when they feel the need to, you will say whatever you have to say to get her comfortable, to let her drop the shields, for the opportunity to present itself, and for you to take advantage of her. Now, you guys are grown, you guys can do what you want to do, but if she trusts you, you will violate her trust by ghosting her, not responding to her, blocking her, or on to the next one. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why simps are dangerous. Now, for the ladies, what about the pick me's? It's virtually the same thing. Now, the only difference is when they try to get in good favors with the men, that's kind of where part two, part three of my marriage series come in, because that's going to be, for the most part, pick me proof. Pick me proof. Basically, what you say, your actions have to match up. Pick me's can talk a good game. They can't keep a good game. They can't spit a good game. Oh, excuse me. They can't walk the shit that they talking. That's why pick me's are dangerous. See, men simps are just gonna smash for the sole purpose to bust you down and keep it moving. Pick me's, they want to get picked. However, the problem is whatever the man wants, they cannot live up to it. That's why both parties are dangerous. Sims are a little bit more dangerous because for obvious reasons. Now that we got that out the way, let's see if we can find this clip together. Oh yeah, and so you guys know that I'm not running or I'm not ducking. The link is located at the top of the chat. Whoever wants it. So Sugar Bomb, if simps are good men, are pick me's good women too? We can wait. Go on and answer that. A yes or no will suffice. Sugar Bomb, are pick me's good women? If simps are good men? I want to know. I want to know. Making his debut on the BTSI show. Ladies and gentlemen, Stan is officially in the building. Stan, what's going on, man?
Hey, salute, brother.
Glad to finally meet you, bro.
Hey, man, likewise, man. I'm glad you approaching this because I remember we was on the panel. Well, we weren't on the panel, but we was in the chat. How did people keep switching? How do people keep switching their positions, right? So they went from being one way to start simping, right? And you called it out because you said pandering for box. So I'm gonna mute myself and so you can get more into detail. I was waiting for somebody to approach that channel. You know, that is that situation that happened, bro. Again, man,
Oh,
I'm glad to be on your panel, bro.
yes, sir. Hey, me concept Sucas, you can stay up here, man, and you guys can pull up. Sugar Bun, I don't have an answer to that. You pull up, you make me sick. Swear to God. See, and she didn't want no smoke with me in DC. That's why she didn't pull up neither. But that's okay. I told y'all, Christopher J's outside for real. Now, let's see if we could find where this went completely left. Oops.
People in a relationship. It's always like if the men would do this, then it would be that. Or if the women were like this, then it would be that. Or if we just had a matriarchal society, or if we just had a patriarch, like that is not. And I think that's what makes the conversation so frustrating, is that there's no one size fits all for anybody. We're not going back to the 50s.
See, she's right. There is no one size fits all. However, there's still parameters that need to be met. because you can't say that when it benefits you. So if one size fits all don't fit for them, it doesn't fit for you as well. And if somebody does something that's not in something that you would deem acceptable, just keep in mind one size don't fit all in the relationship. But let's continue.
We're not going back to the 70s. We're never going to be the traditional, I don't even know what TV show was out to best all encompass that. That's not going to happen. But at the same time, I disagree with um, the fact that that means that it's full blown debauchery and, spring break all the time, hot girl summer for the rest of your life. It doesn't have to, you don't have to be moral and value less simply because you're not going to embody what happened in the 50s and the 60s. If you want to have a traditional, I don't even want to call it traditional, I hate that we use that word. If you want to have a family where your wife stays at home, hey, I make 70, 80, 30, 150,000. You're going to stay at home, and whatever store that lands us in, that's where we live. You can have it.
I'm going to fast forward to see if we can find that.
That might be your lot. Emotionally intelligent and bring.
Like I love Lil C. She be spitting bars, but come on, Lil C. I got to find Lee's comment.
I'm gonna paint your out of touch. You can find people in who wants you evolve? This is a circular argument that's been going. The thick girl, if you don't care that she's got a smart mouth, find you a thick girl with a smart mouth, let her go to work and be happy. If find what you want. Right. You want, not what the panel says you gotta have to be a real man, not what this guy tells you that you need to be if you're gonna be a woman of value. Find what works for you and live your life.
Man, Love C always what she has.
Now, I do agree with Love C to agree, like where you getting your advice from, like who's really schooling you. And I was talking to somebody earlier today, like there's dudes who are just internet dudes, and there's dudes who are real men who just so happen to find the internet. And that's why you guys hear me say a lot. Most people are not qualified to speak. As a matter of fact, I've told people that they're not qualified to speak on certain topics.
I agree.
And I'm standing right there waiting for anybody to throw some smoke on my way. And people, let's just say a lot of people are not that damn stupid. But let's continue. Let's see if we can find when Unlikely crashes out.
Have her insight. It's lovely to hear a woman that has great insight, great intellect, and can articulate her thoughts well throughout the whole conversation without repeating herself. That sounds like a shot. That is to men and women.
That's what Sharon is saying is that most women don't do that, and it's refreshing to see a woman.
I know that's what he's saying. It sounds like a shot.
Okay, yes, it's like a direct shot.
Here comes the pandering for box.
Okay, so that's what I said. So why you say no first? You said no.
No, because
Sharon is doing.
No. I'm saying Sharon said no, and I'm saying it's not no. It's yes for Lee, but no because the shot.
Y'all taking shots at women, bro. What's up with y'all, bro? I just try to figure it out. She said everything right. She said. Let me get it out. Let's figure out what's going on here. Let's figure it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, most of the people that come on the panels cannot articulate themselves very well, as you're going to see, as what Lee does if we decide to go through the long process of his goofy shit. Some people cannot articulate themselves. Some people can't get their thought process together, and that's men and women. Now, to have someone like Love C who does that very well is very refreshing. Matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, she's been doing it. Well, at least I noticed that she's been doing it since May 6th of 2022 when, let me move that out the way, when I made my debut on this side of YouTube. So trust me, we know that Love C can do it, and it's a breath of fresh air after you hear a bunch of people, when you hear a couple of people on the panel said some of the most stupidest shit. It's good to have somebody with sense talk. So for you to jump out there and crash like that, is simply mind-boggling. You know why he did that? Pandering for box. Now, obviously, Love C is happily married, so he's not doing that towards Love C. I would hope not, but he's doing that for the Oh, I don't know. Women like this one in the chat who maybe will let her guard down one day and actually give him a chance and actually go to Miami or have him come to DC. They actually meet up, and who knows? No, and the answer is no. Sorry, I'm not going to be no house husband. No, thank you. I'm not. To be quite honest, and also just to give it a little peel behind the curtains, like although my wife and I are traditional for the most part, we partake in some modernism, if that's how you want to talk about it, just to spice up the relationship or whatever the case may be. But no, see, I don't have a problem with the stuff that most of these brothers are going through. Where is Ken? That is a good question. I have no clue. And Marvelous, I don't know. Marvelous, well, Marvelous is a he's overseas. Still in the military. That much I do know. So let's get back to this guy pandering for box. Crossing his finger one day, sugar bum busted open for him.
And we gonna finally a woman that could stand up and wow, finally we got a woman that could.
I'm not exactly sure what's going on. We're gonna let Lee get it out, and then we.
No, we trying to go to the fuckery. We don't want to go to the fuckery. We're having a good conversation.
Let's see where it leads up.
If it leads up to that, you know what? It's not even.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Nah.
Give you the floor.
Hey, Sharon, can I go like right after? Actually, if Lee's backing out, I can just jump in because I got a meeting in 5 minutes.
No problem.
So,
go ahead, Easy Money Jones.
So real quick, and I'll make this my closing thought. I mean, that is a choice and a voice. People will pull up at your house if you tradition and go back in the day when things were there. We're still, we're still in guys for the women, like
sorry,
all women, and
I'm trying to skip.
And that's not what you want. Any consideration to what they think. We don't live in a patriarchy.
So let me help you out with that.
They're about to talk about do we live in a patriarchy or a matriarchy? Someone brought up we live in a meritocracy. I can agree with that, but if you really want to keep it a buck, who's really in charge of the company, men or women? It's mostly men. Now you want to go down to the black community. As far as the households goes, you can make the argument that's matriarchal, but I would then ask you to look at the results to see who are the results benefiting at the end of the day. Because the decisions that we make today needs to benefit our children, so it can then benefit our grandchildren. Now, we could talk about that another time. A lot of people don't want to have a conversation with me for obvious reasons, because then they bring their talking points to me. I rip it to shreds, and I build it back up, and I tell them, go back and work with that. But I'm a nice guy. Let me see if we can hurry this part up.
Profound impact.
Jesus Christ. Come on. Hurry up. Okay, he's off the panel, so I think this is...
Yeah. No, I appreciate you, man.
So if we don't live in a patriarchy, what do we live in? What system do we live under?
I think we live in a system that can't be named patriarchy or matriarchy. I think it's a fusion of both.
Yeah, I mean, but there has to be a name for it, is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to make any argument. I just want to know what, in your opinion, system that we live under. If it's not a patriarchy, if it's not a matriarchy, what is it?
We live in a meritocracy. You did what you qualified for.
We looked this up, and I think the proper Omni Man speaks. Go ahead. Not Omni Man.
Etc. It's cool. She's a pet. Anyway, we live in a meritocracy or a skillsocracy. Like, you get what you qualify for. That's sure. You know what I'm saying?
And I agree with Omni, but let me try to get what you got in here.
Instead of like both, I think women are. Took thoughts out, brother. Go ahead, get them out.
Here we go.
No, I'm just listening right now. I'm listening, but yeah, I agree. I don't think it's a patriarchy. I think it's a version of both. I think women are, getting power, and I love it. I love that they're able to now make choices based off of what they actually want in a man, instead of like, just like, yo, I need you because I didn't have rights and I really couldn't, like make money back then. So it's like every time they talk about traditional, I really like kind of hate those men. I wish they wasn't here a lot of times, to be honest with you, because I got a daughter, and it's like, why you exist, bro? Like, that is.
Do I need to rewind? Ladies and gentlemen, do I need to rewind to what he just said? Y'all heard that goofy shit he just said? Let me rewind it.
I think women are, getting power, and I love it. I love that they're able to now make choices based off of what they actually want in a man, instead of like, just like, yo, I need you because I didn't have rights and I really couldn't like make money back then. So it's like every time they talk about traditional, I really like kind of hate those men. I wish they wasn't here a lot of times, to be honest with you, because I got a daughter, and it's like, why you exist, bro?
Now, he said he hates traditional men. He's gonna go into a soliloquy by saying things and later saying he didn't say that, or that's not what he meant to say. A bunch of goofy shit. Now, he said he hates traditional men, or whatever the case may be. Now, I will say this. There's one thing he also said that I didn't know. Maybe he said this before. It just went over my head. He said he has a daughter. So let's provide context. Let's get the respect that this situation deserves. I have seen secondhand, obviously, through my dad and my sister. And not to say my dad was any red pill or whatever case may be. My dad's from Nigeria. Just to get full context. So when a man has a daughter, I do understand that one's mentality tends to change. Their outlooks tends to change. Now, this is a tricky part, because it could change for the best or it could change for the worse. Now, I'm going to place regarding that with Lee. If you guys play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or remember the Yu-Gi-Oh! TV show, there's something called a trap card. I'm going to play that trap card. I'm going to place this trap card face down, and I will later activate it when I need to, if I need to. You guys heard it here first. There is a trap card in play. Because he said he has a daughter. I'm going to respect that. And I'm going to respect that his outlook on life and how he sees things has changed. But however, there's a trap card waiting if he steps out of line. Oh, if he steps too far out of line. You're worried about what he says. I'm worried about something completely different. Sugar Bomb, remember this. I have a vantage point that most people don't. I'm not an internet guy. I just so happen to find the internet. But I'm going to give this man the respect that he deserves. As a father, he says he has a daughter, so he sees things a little bit different. Trap card is play. No, trap card is in play. It's face down. It's not activated yet. And we'll just see what happens in the future. You guys heard it here first. But let's continue.
Like, that is a very strong word. Hate. You hate traditional men? No. I hate men who want to go back to tradition, because traditionally, like, what you want me to be, a slave again then? Because if one thing got to go back to tradition and everything.
What did I say earlier? You
called it.
If that's the first thing that comes to your mind, you're not qualified to have this conversation. You are battling something from the past. Matter of fact, you're battling something that had nothing to do with you. You really want to keep it a buck about it. You're in your mind, you have allowed it to be, what's the word? What word do I want to use? You have allowed your thought process to believe that traditionalism means, what is it? Slavery, segregation, where black people wasn't afforded GI benefits. You allowed yourself to say that's what traditionalism means. So because your mind is tainted, your qualifications has been compromised. You are not qualified to have this conversation if that's what you think traditionalism means.
Hey, Chris, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
If somebody tell you traditionalism, what comes to your mind?
When it comes to traditionalism,
Yeah, I'm talking about it's about us as a social construct as far as us as black people. What comes to your mind? You say if somebody said traditionalism, that was good and not just going straight negative, because that's clearly what he did. What would
right.
you say?
In my mind, it's really just going to come to, honestly, the oh well, Jesus, where do I start? Men going to work, coming home, giving the wife his money so the wife can take care of the responsibilities of the house, while she also makes her own bread. The traditional family, a husband, a wife, kids, kids go off to college, and the husband will do anything he has to do to make sure his wife is protected. So those are forms of traditionalism kind of play. And obviously, you can get the Victorian homes, the picket fence, where the wife is at peace.
Now you can ask me that question. And
Yes, sir.
you see how I answered. So traditionalism to me, right? I grew up and I remember the family reunions. I knew all my family members, I knew all my cousins. We went to school together. People would, I grew up in the city, so we would go to the country, and we look forward to that, right?
Hmm.
And then I looked at and then now let's fast forward to now, right? Because much is given, much is required. So now the funerals have turned to the family reunion. That's when people get together. And then we're passing around heads, like we're re-upping for drinks, like we're having a house party. So we can keep on saying that traditionalism is always the negative thing. But the thing that kept us great, everybody throw that in the trash and they go right back to the negative, just like he just did. He said slavery and this, we're not going back to the fields. Man, nobody was talking about that. So go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead, man.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Why we harp on the negative part? Papa got a family on the other side of town. Okay. Well, Mama had a family inside the house, and he still broke his back and took care of the child. He knew that wasn't his child because he wasn't even sleeping with his wife. Did he ever say a word? So we
Right.
just always go back to negative, negative, negative. But I remember them putting people through college. You can't even pay most people, although we the most educated, make the most money, man. You still can't even afford to put your child through college. So how in the hell do they do it? With no credit accounts, none of that. And now we got credit cards and all that. We still can't put our children through school without debt. Anybody that shit on them, bro, I got a problem with them. Them ancestors, man, went through more things than we could ever even dreamt about. But guess what? Because of them, exist. So if we want to keep going back to this negative stuff and all that, bro, that's fine. But that's why I'm rocking with you, bro. And I saw you live for the first time. I said, let me go there because I talk to you all the time in the chat. I said, no, Chris, let's have the adult conversation.
Yes,
Because
sir.
when you start to change your position, because we bros, man, I know how to reach you. And bro, you change your position, us doing the right thing as men and women, bruh, just like you calling bruh out, bruh, what, choose a struggle, man.
No, that's a fact. And I appreciate you for pulling up, man, because it's a simple fact that the first thing that comes to your mind when it comes to traditionalism is something so negative, so vile. It's like, that's what you think about black people? That's what you think about the people before you? So you don't respect those who actually went through real struggle. Here's something I tell black people and they hate it with the passion. We're privileged. Black people are privileged compared to 60 years ago and beyond. But we have the temerity to talk down on them and disrespect the past. So when I tell people you're not qualified to speak, I mean that shit. And I don't have a problem with telling people to their faces.
Hey,
Well,
hey, Chris,
yes, sir.
hey, can I say something real quick? Sugar Bum just put a message on tradition equal control, right? And I'm gonna tell you this: nothing exists in life, right? I'm doing the military gig thing and whatever, right? And I, and I was fortunate and blessed enough to be raised with both my parents, and they was on their purpose, right? However, I know that's not the message for everybody, right? So one thing about it, if you don't have left and right limits, look at what people say tradition, they threw it in the trash. Now look at all the things we're doing now. We're making some of the dumbest decisions on the planet. We're raising the most degenerate children on the planet in history. So without left and right limits, it's one thing, to be controlling, but controls are necessary, man. You got your YouTube channel, you got to work within those left and right limits, right? So in a relationship or whatever, it's always got to be left and right limits. Now, you're a person of a certain intelligence. I see you at work, and I know you in that dang on that atmosphere with the law enforcement type thing, whatever, right? Whether you police or
Yeah, I'm
whatever.
probably
No, security,
right.
security is security. It's left and right limits. You know how far to take things without that. But you know how to understand that. Now you throw that out to the world when nobody ever taught them anything. And that's why people can brag on panels that I've been arrested 30 something times and I can have babies and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
come on, man. You got to have left and right limits, man. The military would not exist if we didn't have left and right limits, man. And so for you to say that, you the wrong guy, right? You not the one to talk. No, bro. Without left and right limits, because one day you're gonna find yourself old. And I'm gonna land the plane right now. I
Mm-hmm.
tell people right now, go visit the VA and go to the nursing homes because a lot of those people in there, like they're thinking now in their youth. And guess what? You don't get it back, bro. You only get one shot at this thing called life, man. You only get one of them. Unless y'all figure out another one to get. You only get one. I much rather listen to you, Chris, man, because you were level headed, bro. And I'm telling you, because once you get old, bro, it's over.
Mm. I
I
think
see that
they're kind
real
of.
time. I see that real time, bro.
No, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Like, all I can be is just be honest and just tell the truth. Like, it doesn't benefit me to a lot of people or see them push them further off the edge if that's where I see them going. It's like, be honest, tell the truth. Like, the reason why I don't. Here's why I tell people. Here's why people don't like me. I don't have to lie. I don't have to kick it to fit in. I'm gonna tell you where I stand, and you know where I'm gonna stand. You don't have to agree with me, but on your own, organically, you're gonna respect where I'm coming from. And guess what? And guess what? We're gonna be like this. We're gonna build together. Now, I also will keep it a bug with you. Well, let me not say that. I won't go. I won't open that Pandora's box. That's going to make a. They'll clip this, and this is going to make its rounds, and a lot of people's going to be in their feelings. So let me not. Let me not say that. But I don't have to lie. I don't have to pump you up to get my point across or whatever case to me. I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna be me. You love me or hate me, you just know this is Christopher J. This is how he feels. If you want to know how he feels, go ask him. He'll tell you. That's the type of time that I'm on, and I appreciate the words of kindness there. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Hey
Uh,
man, but I will tell you this. A lot of the guys, man, Lee and the rest of the brothers, man, we all rock together, man. We don't some of the things we say, we don't totally agree, right? We don't totally agree. And I don't want we you don't want an echo chamber. But at the end of the day, I rock with Lee, man. But come on, bro. Man, I just want to change the mindset. Quit acting like our ancestors was failures, man. Because without them, it would be no us. And I'm telling you, we can't even deal with losing a job or losing a relationship. Man, they literally was losing their life and they still kept fighting. Who was the strongest? Who was the weakest? Just because you got all these bells and whistles and see all these shiny things, bro, that don't mean that you better than them. They went through some things, bro. I mean, bro, and in the military, man, after 10 deployments and all this shit, man, I seen more shit to make most motherfuckers just take their self-delete or make a motherfucker just give up on life. How, at the end of the day, it don't make me any better, any stronger. I'm just saying, man, don't dog out the ancestors, man. And and Omni, man, Omni is a jackass, and I love him, but hey, but I'm gonna tell you this one
That's
thing about
good.
Omni. Omni stays on point. When people try to take him off a topic, Omni say, "Let me ask you this. Let me get my questions out." That's what Omni say. Let me get my questions out. Y'all stop. I don't need y'all to jump in. Omni's
What's good?
trying to get a thought. Hey, how's it going, Omni? But Omni, man, and the reason why I say Omni a jackass, he's not a jackass to me, but the other people they say he is. Omni stays on point. He said, man, let me ask you the question because he's really trying to figure out what your line of thought is.
For
Salute
real.
to you, Omni and Chris. Man, salute to y'all, brothers. So we're gonna have grown man conversation, and all that, man. But I'm just telling you, man, we still got to fight the good fight. They didn't give up, so why would we give up?
there, there you go. And making his return to the BTSI show. Omni is in the building. What's going on, Omni?
What's going on? Going on? Chiming in from work. So I'm limited on time. I'm on break right now. But you know what I'm saying? I always gonna make time for you, Chris, and kick it with you.
I
You know what I
appreciate it.
mean? Where I can. Whew,
Yeah, tell us.
man.
You got the
We
mic,
were.
Omni.
Heads up, Omni. We reviewed what you said earlier about difficult women. Lead them to their own circumstances. No need to personally hold them accountable and choose better for yourself. Go find yourself a traditional woman. If that's what you want. I completely agree.
That's it. That's it. Because we talk about holding people accountable, but as Ali said on the same show, you can't really, you know what I'm saying? You can't really um control people, right? Like none of us here on the internet has a hand in each other's lives. So I can't manipulate anything in Chris's life. Chris can't really manipulate anything in Stan's life. I can't manipulate anything in any of y'all's life. But if you're going to be a certain way with people, if you're going to be rude and you're going to be a degenerate and you're going to be, you know what I'm saying, just exhibit undesirable behaviors and undesirable traits, and just be unpleasant to be around, I'm gonna leave you to your circumstances. And I'm saying it that way to make it universal. It's not just about women, it's about men too. Like, we'll just leave you to your circumstances. There's plenty of people that have actually tried to help out, and it's like, dude, I'm in the position to help you out. I'm already good. You need the help. You came to me seeking help. You came to me seeking assistance, and you're going to act this way just because you don't like the type of help that I'm giving you. You know what I'm saying? So it really goes with anything, not just women, but definitely with women. You know what I'm saying? If they're gonna be a certain way, if they're not gonna be aligned to the program that you're trying to put them on, Just leave them where they're at, and their circumstances will take care of themselves. It's like when you see women with like two, three, sometimes four, five kids. You know what I'm saying? You might feel bad for them, you might da da da, but you have to remind yourself there's a reason why they're in the circumstances they're in. You know what I'm saying? So don't save them. Don't save them. Just leave them to their devices. Just leave them to their devices.
They don't
Hey,
want to be
hey,
sick.
Omni, I want your opinion on this, real quick, because I know you got your time is limited. You know, so
Yes, sir.
one of the one of the biggest accomplishments that I ever done in my life, is taking 17, 18-year old, and when they enlist in the military, and I just asked them the question, right, that people never ask them a day in their life, and help them and watch them thrive, right, and so take off the uniform, I'm gonna do it in reverse. I'm gonna do my best, and I'm gonna reach back out to y'all brothers. So don't y'all hide when I do this, so we can get them while they're young, man, before they go through all the trauma, the letdowns. Young men and young women, man, because I believe that's where our effort need to be at, but we still got to take care of what we got to do when people become adults. So I'm gonna be reaching out to y'all, but that's one of the biggest accomplishments in my life, taking 17 to 18-year old young men and young women, man, and show them that is a better way in life. And I dedicate many years of my life doing that.
Word, word. So what's the thing that you try to tell them or try to ask them that they've never been asked before?
Um, oh, this is the thing, right? And man, they used to dog me out about it. Hey, they tell anybody that's been in the military, they use that term soup sandwich, that joker's a loser and all that. So when I bring them in I said, well, just give that soldier to me. And then ask them this, what's going on? Saying, this and this and
Mm,
that, right? I asked them,
yeah.
and then I asked them about what's going on, right? That opens up a lot of answers, right? Well, I let them tell me the story. I grew up, my mom was there, my dad wasn't there, or my mom was there, my dad was locked up, or vice versa. I grew up in grandma's house. I said, I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna give you the tools so you can be better, so you can heal. And guess what? And some of the proudest moments for them, and it was proud for me too, that they went to have Thanksgiving dinner with their mother and their father, and they got a chance to get back with the damn family and their siblings. That's what I put back to them. I just had to just ask them a question, and they said nobody's ever asked me. They just painted me as just being bad, and nobody never asked me the question, bro.
Word. A lot of kids ain't being at. Matter of fact, when I was going through the nuance of being a young adult, well, going from what I'm saying, in my late teens into young adulthood, nobody asked me that question, and I had to step up and become my mother's guardian. You know what I'm saying? Like because she had early onset dementia. You know what I mean? So in that process, nobody ever asked me what's going on, how you doing, what do you feel like? None of that. You know what I'm saying? And I was always in go mode. You never know what these young folk are going through. And that was a very powerful thing for you to step up and ask them because a lot of people just don't want to know. A lot of people, I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people don't want to know what these kids are actually got going on and going into and getting into. You know what I'm saying? So salute to you for that, man, because that's something that the youth doesn't get very too much nowadays. Is
Yeah.
someone that is actually invested in what they got going on.
See, because and I'm gonna tell you this. I mean, I grew up a certain way, right? And I jumped off the porch when I didn't have to. My parents was already established. But however, my thing is, Sugar Bum said, "Who asked you to save them?" No, 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 no. It's only one. It's only one world. It's only one world. So your children, my children, anybody children or whatever. It's only one world. Be able to save them, but I'm gonna just give y'all just a little, just 30-second. Omni, I'm gonna give you the total mic because I know you got to get back to work. But just like in the military, they ask you. We do evaluations, right? You go see this person that's a professional therapist or whatever. They ask you certain questions. Why don't we do that in schools? and ask the child, hey, what's going on? And then at the beginning of this dang on school year, watch this. And I'm already talking with legislation to do this. But however, is that determine whether I need to see you twice this semester or once every week or see you, whatever. Because you need to know. And just like the songwriter said, you just don't want to know. Well, we're saying what just not wanting to know. It's still going to eventually creep into your life. It's just that, man, determine. You see that child more than the parents see him. I don't care who you are. The school system see that. We paying our tax dollars. We do the test. The military does it. Why do you think the military does it and we don't do it in the civilian world? Is that determine whether I need to see this person once a week, twice a week, once a semester, or whatever. And I think that would at least begin to move the needle. And because you just, I tell my soldiers and all that, and I done my first sergeant time and all that. I said, man, you ain't got to care a lot, just care a little. You got the money, man,
Factual.
before you have to go to work, man.
Factual. A little bit. Just you don't need to. You know what I'm saying? See, everybody thinks is this romantic higher learning where you got to be. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucking Morgan Freeman. You smoke crack, don't you? You don't have to do all of that. You don't
Uh,
have to do all of that.
no, I agree with that.
You don't
Sugar,
have to do all of that.
Hey,
sugar. Explain
hey,
your comment, please.
Sugar Bub said, I don't need a mentor. Well, hey, that's
That
very
is
fortunate.
Everybody
complete
needs a
bullshit.
yeah. Everybody needs mentors. Matter of fact, I have several. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
I
bro.
yeah. You need several. Well, a mentor, and see, this is the thing that is, especially in quote unquote. I hate to do the race thing, right? But quote unquote in the black community, everybody's worried about being sunned. Everybody's worried about, you know what I'm saying, having someone over them. But before you can lead, you must first follow. And I don't think you can get everything that you need to be a well-rounded individual from one person. As such, you need to have several mentors. You know what I'm saying? You need to have several mentors. Just find in your immediate circle, find things that you like, find the traits and the habits that you would like to adopt, and find them one trait at a time from one person. So from this person, I like that they do this over here. I like that they do this over here, but they cheat on their wife. I'm not really going to take the cheat on their wife aspect of them, but they're good at finances. I can't deny that they're good at finances for some reason. So, you know what I mean? You can find good in people, but you don't need to take everything from a person. And I think that's where people get the whole mentor mentee relationship confused. It's not like it's not like they're becoming your sensei and you following them up into a mountain on a journey and a hike, and you gotta, you know what I'm saying, eat rice out of a bowl with chopsticks, one grain at a time. None of that bullshit. You just need to find the traits in people that are around you that you have access to, and you know what I'm saying, see what they do. So this person's good at finances. This person's good at relationship building. You know what I'm saying? Like this person's good at social media. You know what I mean? It's not hard, but people make it more complicated. I say it all the time. You know what I'm saying? It could be as easy as it is or as difficult as you make it.
I agree. Now,
Yeah.
let me read this. Most men are indoctrinated with the hero complex. Nobody's asking y'all to save them. Sugar
Hey,
Bun, hold on. Sugar Bun, are you sure you want to take that? Are you sure that's the hill you want to die on? Because I
right.
agree.
Everybody.
100% agree. That's a hill you don't want to die on, sweetheart. You may want to recant that.
Where are the top two things that women are asking men for? Provi-
Be a hero.
yeah, I mean, provision and protection. It sounds like I'm your savior. I don't know.
Hey, I mean, I know your time is limited, but I'm gonna tell you this: how did we get tricked to, because I just got to imagine, back in the day, because people always want to bring back all the negative connotation. How did they make it through? That was their form of counseling. Why do the other race of people, bro? Why did they put their children in counseling at 3 and 4 and 5 years old to give them the skill set? And they are the ones that's leading the world, bro.
Mm,
Why did we turn it to
mm.
negative? They learned it from us. How did they survive through that without counseling? We had counseling. It wasn't in the formal sense, but now they put all their children. By the time they get to the terrible twos, they already got a counselor.
Yeah, because you need an outside perspective. You need someone to advise you, and not necessarily your parents, because you know what I'm saying. Your parents, there's this aspect of love. There's this aspect of love where the father typically less so often, but the parents want to on some level take it easy on the child because that's their child. It's hard for a parent to watch their child go through a process that a lot of the processes that we go through in life have to hurt us. We have to endure some form of trauma in order to make ourselves stronger, in order to make ourselves tougher. Chris, matter of fact, I wanted to definitely salute you because I didn't get a chance to tell you this, but that piece that you did on you being bullied and coming up, that was dope, bro. That video that you did on how you got through bullying, and you know what I'm saying, how it set the tone for who you are today. That was a dope video, bro. So I wanted to tell you that if I didn't get a chance to already.
I
Yeah,
appreciate that,
respect,
man.
Chris. Respect, Chris.
Right. But I gotta go. We off break, so I'm gonna get up out of here. But salute to you two gentlemen, and
All
everybody
right,
in the
homie.
chat that ain't sugar bum. We out. Peace.
Yeah.
Felicity, brother. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so we all need advising, right? It's not about holding people accountable, unless it's your job or whatever, right? And you the supervisor, but it's about having the discussion. Because Chris, I've listened to you and I implemented that within my profession, right? So when I'm talking to someone and being more understanding, more compassionate, right? Because you're never gonna have enough of that, right? So I said, okay, let me try a different approach. See, because in the military, we got this thing that we'll throw you out called failure to adapt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, well, I've been doing this for a long time and I've been successful, but I say, okay, now we got a new, right? Because somebody asked the question about something about the job stuff, right? And and in what you was playing. Oh well, what do you call if it's not a patriarchy or a matriarchy? What is it, man? They got this thing called hybrid, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the new term, right? That
Right.
means that is multifaceted, right? And so at the end of the day, man, I want us to win. I want us all to win, and I know that we all want. And it's not that we can't, that we want. So for somebody to say this is like me to be cavalier because I have both my parents and both of them were successful and all that, and they've done preceded me in death. But for me to say that I'm gonna approach someone else's child as if they grew up the same way I did, that is crazy for me to say, well, I
Right.
had my parents. No, 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 no. No, my job is to give back. That's my job, and that's my calling in life, and that's my purpose in my journey. It's not about somebody asking me to be their hero, to save them, or whatever. Sometimes you don't know. See, because I'll tell you right now, Chris, if you was thirsty, you wouldn't drink poison to quench your thirst.
Right.
So how do you know not to drink poison? Somebody got to tell them, man, and you got to give people an opportunity. Now, once I tell you you don't do, I mean, that's back on you, right? As an adult, but as a child, man, you give them 50 billion chances, man. No matter what it is, and that's just my philosophy. I'm just staying, and I'm a dumb, retarded person, man, that managed to
Stop
accomplish a
it.
lot of things in my life, man. But you ain't gonna drink poison, man, just because you're thirsty, bro. But some people don't know they just drinking poison, and they think life is gonna change.
No, and that's a fact. That is a fact. They're just desperate for anything, so they'll try anything. And it's like you just really just take your time and analyze the situation. You can then find yourself a cure. A lot of people are impatient. They want microwavable stuff right now. No, this is a slow roast. You got to let it cook. But they'll figure it out. Now let's hurry this up. I'm trying to get to the point where he really crashes out for real. But I think for the most part, people kind of get where I'm going with this.
I get you, bro. And like, I'm 35, you 32. We both got some years. We both seen some things. I could tell you that, yeah, I've seen that. But what happened is I would see black men take advantage of that. And then we got to have that conversation. Because, like, right now, like take advantage of it. Like, understand, like, yo, black women want us. So we gonna kind of do what we want. Because they crying out as well. They saying, yo, like, we ain't getting the men that we want. Yeah, we want black men, but we ain't getting what the ones that we want in quantity.
So you're thirsty. So are you going to drink water or are you going to drink poison? Basically. That's basically what we were just talking about right now.
And quality, right?
Yeah, but that's never existed. I hear what you said. Like, don't get me wrong. That's never existed. And the problem is, that's why I don't like dads that are the fathers of women, is that they have a very difficult time explaining to women that y'all all don't get to win. Like we'll tell our sons, hey, look, it's losing in life. Well, the women, we don't express it. They're gonna be losers. We don't express it. Hey, because we want to protect them more than we protect our sons, because we know our sons are gonna navigate the world because the world is cruel to them. It is what it is. Women are losers. And for some reason, there's this perceived notion that, hey, there need to be more men for these women to be happy. Most women are losers, but nobody speaks that direct about women being losers. They are.
Okay, most men are losers too.
Agreed.
So like,
but
to say that,
but there's a difference. 20% of men, and I'm just using that arbitrary number because that's what people understand. We understand those are the elite, and those are the ones that put up to the top, and most women desire those men. So could you imagine that the women are saying, look, I know I desire these men, but I accept you because society says there's not enough of those men for me, and my selfish desire says I want a man that's solely mine, even if the man that I desire is different and I can't have him to myself. And that's the struggle that is really existing. We've never lived in a place where women had the option of getting men that are similar. It never existed. And they were, well, I don't even know if we can gauge whether they were happy, because when we keep talking about this marriage rate, we was broke. We didn't have no money. And the black men were the most married, the black people were the most married with no money.
So that kind of leads me to ask, ladies and gentlemen, we had very little back then, but we managed to stay together. We are privileged, just like we like to tell white people they're privileged. Black people, you're privileged too, compared to our ancestors back in the day. Why do we have more than them and we're still fucking up? Just a thought. Just a
Yeah,
thought.
hey, Chris, real quick, bro. This is my biggest concern, man, is that you got to cut a deal, right? You got to cut a deal. If you're gonna be in a relationship or whatever, you got to cut a deal. Just like a job, right? You can have options and whatever, man. Because when we turn around in 2024, and this is not me trying to pull something out my butt, it's just that you got to cut a deal. Because a lot of these service jobs are going away, man. We got more apps than we can even count. You're seeing less people, man. I just went to Food Line the other day. It was one cashier when it used to be full, right? And now everything's self checkout. Now, what happened to that job? And they get ready to roll out all the robotics so they can stock the shelves, and they're more accurate than any human can be. And they don't call out of work, and they don't have to pay benefits. I'm telling everybody, you better cut the deal now so you can get the best option. Or if you don't cut the deal now, it's going to be less pickings for anybody later. Because to answer your question, it's amazing how we had less and we stayed together more, and they managed to make it work. We got more and we got less.
Mhm. And I'll cover, ladies and gentlemen, I'll cover all this in my marriage series. All this gets covered on how to avoid certain situations like this. But it is what it is. Let's see if this is it because we about to wrap up real soon.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, sure, Jay. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Lee. Before y'all continue y'all conversation, slavery was part of tradition at one point.
She gets on my nerves.
If you know the definition of tradition, you know slavery is technically traditional.
Why do people make me do this? Let's see. And
rock out on that, Chris.
Oh my fucking god! And I like Jay. She's from Houston. So I tend to what's what I'm looking for? Look out for those in Houston, like protect them in some type of way, shape, or form.
Grace,
Like
and
you
you give
can't.
mercy, and you give them the benefit of the doubt. I get what you're saying, bro.
Okay, so all right, let's see. Let's see. According to the AI, traditional means based on ways of thinking, behaving, or doing something that has been used for people in a particular group, family, society, etc. for a long time. For example, traditional dress, music, art, culture, dance. Hmm. Let's see. Sentiments or tradition. Let's see. Conventional, commonly, consistently, generally, habitual, normally, routinely. Why the fuck do you guys continue to go to slavery? Why the fuck do you guys go to segregation?
Always.
See, and this is and like I said, I like Jay, I really do. But this is about to be the third person in this conversation that said they're not qualified to have this conversation. Anybody that goes to see like because we're not supposed to really be dealing with negative people anyway, because they're not good for one spirit and one's goals, and we really isolate them. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to do a call to action. Another one, pretty much. Anybody that equates slavery, segregation, and all this other stuff, traditionalism, stay away from them. Like real shit,
Hey,
stay away from them.
hey, Chris, can I ask you a quick question? So
Yes,
you
sir.
can finish playing, so you can wrap up your line. But I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Slavery, right? And everybody, a lot of people, right? Not everyone want to go back to slavery, but guess what? Have you ever been in a situation where you and your buddy was at a out at a club or whatever, and you said, "Come on, guys, let's go," and because you already saw the odds were stacked against you, and you know it was going to end favorably, right? And that's the same thing that men did in slavery. They said, "Wait a minute, because if I buck, they're gonna kill my whole family. We can do it
Mm-hmm.
now. Let's fast forward now. We'll say, hey man, it's a bad situation. Even in the military, man, sometimes we get in a bad stance. We just like okay, all right, and we can go. That's the same thing those men were doing back then, and the women did it too. And I'm like, so now everybody want to go back to slavery. Man, we compromise all the time for the good of the group. Real people.
And truth be told, go back further into slavery. You can go back to the Bible times. See, when
Right.
people think when it comes to traditional, I think protection. I think um yes, duty, responsibility, all that other stuff. But most importantly, I think protection. Solidify your protection. A woman was was protected. A woman had a house to live in. A woman had the bills paid. A woman had everything she needed because the person that she was dependent on, interdependent on, her husband, took care of the heavy load, and now she can do the rest. Security, basically.
Right.
She
But
secure.
watch this, bro. Watch this, bro. If he would have bucked, they would have burned the whole damn house down.
Mm-hmm.
Killed all of them. He was weak. He should have bucked.
But what
Man,
would that make? What difference would it make if they would have lost everything?
exactly. We witnessed
Like
this,
you're gonna
bruh.
lose. Like your pride is gonna be the reason why you're homeless. Your pride is gonna be the reason why you have to bury a family member. Your pride is gonna be the reason why you don't have a family to go home to.
Scripture say, pride comes before every fall, right?
Right.
Pride, my ego. So I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna go do this and then wipe out my whole family. For what? It don't
And
make you.
usually,
Go ahead, bro.
no, I say usually see dudes like that or women like that too. You gotta let them do it. Like failure is the best teacher, and sometimes death is too.
I agree. I agree. You know, so they call them the call the slaves weak. Y'all men ain't never fought for anything. Y'all never stood up. Man, you crazy bad. For a man to bite his lip and to bite his tongue and not just go and just be animalistic, right? Is because I guess now they call us animals. But at the end of the day, for a man to say, hey man, I gotta look at the big picture. Yeah, I may get out. Man, I've been to places with my friends and not just in the military, out there in combat, but I've been to places with my friends. Yeah, they would have let me walk out. I could have walked out. I said, hell no, I'm trying to get my friends out of here. Come on, guys, let's go. Did that make me weak? Did that make me whatever? No, that's me thinking of the good of the group. And as men, we need to get back to thinking of the good of the group and it's not no just a man and woman thing, and you talk about it all the time. We both got to get our stuff back together. And
Mhm.
but when people just want to do it one sided, just like what you was playing earlier, well, men this and men that. Wait a minute, bro. Two-way street, bro. So that's why I rock with you, Chris, man. But bro, we trying to get the whole group out, man. And because you can buck, you can take care of yourself. Well, what about the rest of your friends or your family members? Can they get
Yeah.
out of there?
Oh yeah, because kids, that's another form of protection. You got to look at. You got to be proactive, and you got to see things, and you got to look into the future and avoid all drama. But we're gonna spare Lee for the time being, although I revealed more than enough than I had to. There's still
Do a
some things.
part two tomorrow. Do a part two tomorrow. Just hit
Uh,
me up and let me know.
we'll see.
Because
We will.
I
Yeah.
mean to talk. I mean to talk so much, man. I hadn't
Nah,
talked to you
it's
in a
all good,
while.
man. And see, my channel, my page is different than everybody else's, which is a key reason why a lot of people don't come here because the goofy shit that they get away on other people's panels, I don't. You're not gonna do that here. So they tend to steer clear, rightfully so. But will we do a part two tomorrow? I probably will. It's not going to be as quality. I won't. I definitely won't be here. I'll probably do it at work, but we'll see, man. We will see. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I understand that Lee has a daughter, and I can respect that, and I can respect his mindset has changed. However, there's a trap card that is currently in play. It hasn't been activated yet. We're just gonna leave it there for now. But you guys, ladies and gentlemen, fellas, stop pandering to these women just to get some box. Ladies and gentlemen, uh, this individual right here, probably, well, she agreed with me like one time before, and that's just me as a man being fair. Like you don't rob people of the right to decision. How other than that, her and I have disagreed on countless of things. But I tell you one thing, at the bare minimum, she respects me because I'll go against the grain and I will
Sugar
stand.
Bomb, Sugar Bomb, she does her thing, but at the end of the day, she give respect to the men that's are respectable. I mean, and so I got to give her that.
Yeah. No, 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 no. Sugar Bum's cool. I don't have a problem with Sugar Bum. She got on my nerves at the beginning. Her, Robert M's of the world, and all that other stuff. But she knows who I am. She knows what I'm coming with and where I'm coming from. She and guess what? She probably outside of one time she ain't never agree with me. But I can tell you one thing. She respects me. I respect her because we know how we roll, and that's pretty much it from there. See,
Hey, can,
I didn't have to pander to her to get that
right.
respect from her.
Exactly, bro.
So those of y'all who do all that goofy shit, like let me tell you something. I'm gonna say this and we gotta go. And we're gonna go. I'm not naming any names. Actually, hmm, how can I say this?
Take a deep breath.
I I said earlier why simps are dangerous. Simps or pick-me's are the same. Outside of the genders, pick-me's and simps are virtually the same. When it comes to simps, they'll say what they have to say to get in the woman's good graces, or whatever the case may be. So when the opportunity presents itself, they will act upon it. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't confirm or deny, but I'm just read between the lines. That's all I'm gonna say is read between the lines.
Hey, I'm gonna leave with this, bro, so you can get some rest and all that. I gotta get some rest too, but bro, I'll tell you this. My late father, my hero, and I'll tell you this. And I remember in my youth, and because when you're a child, you want people to whisper and all that. You thought you just got a secret, right?
Hmm.
And I've shared this throughout my life with my soldiers and stuff. Don't be surprised when you win. Be surprised when you lose. And once you figure it out, you still won. And I'm telling people, man, it's not a one size fit all. You can go to all these panels; they're going to tell you about relationships. It's not a one size fit all. It's that, man, when you lose, figure it out. Build on it, man. I take these soldiers, man, and I give them a toolbox. They may not need it today. Man, bruh, how many times we worked at our houses or worked on our vehicles? I think the other day somebody was saying they had to work on their vehicle. Well, you didn't need the Phillips screwdriver. You need a flathead screwdriver. How many times when we was growing up and then we say, damn, after we break the car apart, we say, God dang it, man, I ain't got the right tool. So don't be surprised when you win, man. Be surprised when you lose, man, because we was all designed to win. It's all about what journey and path we go through to make us better so we can be here and stand the course of time, man, to help others, man. And that's my mission in life. That's my journey. That's my calling. Not saying that's anybody else's, but Chris, I see that in you. You help a lot of people, man, and you talk to them. You give them wisdom.
I appreciate that, man. Thank
Because
you. That
once the ship or the train leave the station, gone, man, they don't turn around.
no, that's real. That's a fact. But I
You got
appreciate
it,
the
bro. Go ahead and finish out and close out your show. And man, I really appreciate you, Chris. Man, we'll talk later on off of this, man. But I'm just telling you, man, I feel your energy, man. And man, we got to do the right thing, man. Flip flopping confuses everyone.
yeah, it does. But like I said, you gotta stand 10 toes down, and that's what I am. Yeah, I'm always gonna be me. I'm always gonna go down with the ship. This is who I am at the end of the day. But I appreciate that, man. And also, ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here, Angry Man and Uncle Tom is live right now. So those are your two options. You got Angry Man and you got your Uncle Tom on who you want to. If you guys want to stay up, I gotta go to sleep. So, ladies and gentlemen, on your way out, get your shoes at the front door. Like this video, subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on all social. Links are located in the description. Down sign the BTS I shows Cash App. Participant waive all rights and privacy. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Once we reach that goal, one lucky person will get $100 during the Cash App giveaway. And the second and third person will get some Cash App money as well. I guarantee you it will not be $100. So thank you guys for tuning in. Sharon, brother, appreciate you for allowing me to react to your panel. And Stan, Omni, thank you for pulling up, my brother Stan.
Hey,
Anytime,
salute,
man,
bro.
pull up
We
anytime.
brothers for life now, bro. We brothers for life now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the BTSI show. I'm your host, Christopher J. I'm gonna talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace out.